Welcome to my introduction to electronic warfare. Just to be clear, this is a simulation of electronic warfare. It is in fact against international law, even if the government doesn't know this. It is against international law to spoof radar signals. Do not do it. But it's not illegal to spoof Wi-Fi signals. And it would work in a similar way to this, just you're required to buy a device that I do not have. So in this example, I'm actually download real data from Meta-Aaron. So this is data, this is radar signals from Meta-Aaron. This simulation, I spoof my own data set. I can jam it, which means it blocks the information, and then I can run AI that I've created to detect anomalies. So if I'm running this live, right, this is live. If somebody spoofs this in real life, my machine learning using isolation forests and conventional neural networks detects that there's no anomalies detected. So to be more interesting, I have to spoof my own data, but I'm the only person who, and this is a simulation, so I'm the only person who is receiving this spoof data. So there you go, that's creating objects that don't exist. That blocks out a part of the radar. And surprise, surprise, my machine learning detects what is spoofed data. You can see it there. It was able to detect everything and the jamming. So that is how electronic warfare works. So in a real life situation, pretend that this is a Meta-Aaron, that you are Ukraine, right? So pretend you're in Ukraine, you're using your radar to pick up targets in Russia, but the Russians, they spoof all this data, they makes it look like there's a bunch of stuff there that isn't actually there, and they can block out something that's important. But the Ukrainians don't understand that, or quite often they'll hit something that isn't there. Now, in reality, Ukrainians are actually quite good at this, so they do actually quite often hit their targets. But sometimes they don't hit their targets because of spoofing, and sometimes the Russians are able to spoof the data and the drones go somewhere else. But as I said, actually, in real life, the Ukrainians are quite good at this, but the Russians are also quite good at spoofing data. So they're like, one day one is better at it, and the next day the other one's better at it. So if I was working for a defense force, I'd run my machine learning, and there you go again. It goes, what? No, that's fake data. No, that's also a bit strange. And then be more accurately be able to hit our targets. I might be the only person in Ireland that knows how to do this. But we do have contacts with Swedish companies to build a new radar system. It's just that the person head of the project is not an AI engineer like myself, so who knows if it actually goes well. But just this is an example of how electronic warfare works, and I've been studying this for years. I've worked for a few militaries. Yeah. All it takes is just like one person who knows this stuff to potentially cause a lot of damage. And if you see my other videos on this topic, people spoofing radar signals around Irish airports will increasingly become a problem. It's starting to become a problem already, and it will become increasingly so. So this is my introduction to electronic warfare.